What's up, people? Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 here. Oh, wait a minute. Let me try that intro again, but in a very old familiar way that you guys used to know. Hey, everybody! It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 here. Welcome to another deck profile. That's a lot better. Yep, I'm bringing my old intro back. That I used to do when my channel name was MLB11X and C22 back in the day. Only the intro this time will be a little more modern and a little more tweaked. Anywho, today is an update to the Orichalcos challenge. The deck has been pretty modified for now, until I can test the waters of the meta quite a bit. But I think you guys will find this deck to be very reminiscent of a older build. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we have here 2 Kutora. Very simple Kutora. Special summon it from your hand by paying 500 life points. All battle damage you take drops to 0. And if this thing is destroyed, you pretty much summon Shunoros, Dexia, and Aristeros. Dexia is 300 points higher in attack points than the monster it is battling always. And Aristeros is always 300 points in defense points higher than the monster it is battling always. So you got a really good shield and you got a really good attacker, but the thing interesting about Aristeros, though, is that if one of my other monsters would be attacked, the attack can be redirected to Aristeros. So, cool. And when basically all 3 of them are blown up, it's pretty much it. Boom, Divine Serpent. Basically, when he's summoned, you pretty much pay all your life points and discard your hand to the graveyard. But as long as he's in the field, you can remain in the game, and you are pretty much protected from basically, as long as he's on the field, you remain in the game regardless of win conditions. So Exodia, Final Countdown, whatever, all of that won't even affect it. Next up, Double Gygas. 2 Gygas, pretty good beater. Every time you destroy him, he comes back 500 points stronger. But if I use the effect, I have to skip my draw phase. Double Doom Beetle. Good old Doom Beetle. Now, since we're up to him, this is where I need to let you guys know. Most of the cards you're seeing is pretty much extremely reminiscent of basically my very first Orichalcos build back in 2012. Which is pretty much what this deck is based off of. This is based off of my 2012 build called the Special Deck Build. Well, that's what I originally named it. But it was the very first time that I, back in 2012, was the very first time I ever made the Orichalcos, so. Doom Beetle was one of the first new Orichalcos monsters I ever used. Basically, if he's destroyed, he has 2 special abilities. He can either be resurrected, or your opponent can take 800 points of damage for every card in your hand. Or is it their hand? Oh, it's their hand. Sorry. Next up, 2 Malevolence. Turn a defense position to attack position and just run over it. That's pretty much what Malevolence does. 2 Orichalcos Magus. Gains 400 attack for every other Orichalcos monster on the field except for himself. Really nice beat stick. 2 Lord of the Orichalcos Army. Negates any trap card that targets him, and I can skip my draw phase to add an Orichalcos monster from my deck to my hand. Dragoness Orichalcos. Now, this was in my original 2012 build as well. And I'll reiterate again, like before, most of the cards in here are from my 2012 build. Basically, Dragoness Orichalcos, I had to errata completely. His original effect was just way too powerful. In order to summon this thing, I have to have an Orichalcos field spell, and I have to tribute free Orichalcos monsters. He gains 500 attack points for every card on the field and in both players' hands. And if he's just and if this thing is blown up, he's pretty much a heavy storm. He putting the attack from 1,000 to 500 was actually a really good idea because, say for instance, I left it the way it was, and say we both have like 3 cards on our hands and 3 cards on our field, that'd be 1,200 attack points, and that's just game right there. So cutting that in half is gonna balance this thing out even further. It's a good monster. Okay, Darkness Seed. Now this was not in the 2012 build originally. Now, basically, this was one the Darkness Seed started to come into the Orichalcos build around 2013-2014. Um, he's a pretty good tech for this deck specifically because the 2012 build could have used this, and the reason why is simple. When this thing is sent to the graveyard, you can activate its effect. If you do, during your second standby phase after activation, it'll come back with 2 special abilities. Number 1, it can't be destroyed by battle. Number 2, during your end phase, if your life points are below 4,000, they go back to 4,000. Free copies of Tour Guide, because I am running some rank 3 exceeds. 1 pre-errata Witch and 1 pre-errata Sinkin. Love my pre-erratas to death. I know I could use the errata versions, but for the sake of the challenge, I have to go a little old school here. You have to add the old school. Next up, Triple Seal of Orichalcos. Now, this Seal of Orichalcos is a little different. This is the UDE seal, spell speed 4 and all, but this has a new modernized errata done by both me and a friend of mine, Winter Moon. Shout out to Winter Moon. Thank you, buddy. Spell speed 4 negator. Your monster zones are treated as your spell and trap card zones are treated as spell and trap card zone. I mean, sorry. Your spell and trap card zones are treated as monster zones. All monsters you control gain 500 attack. Loser of the duel loses their soul. You get the whole gist of it. You've seen the Seal of Orichalcos in many Orichalcos challenges many times. Along with Dutros, which during my main phase 1 I gain 500 life points for each monster I control. And Tritos, which makes all my monsters immune to your spells and traps. 2 Chosen Destiny with new artwork. Shout out to my friend Crimson Heart for the artwork. You're awesome, dude. Chosen Destiny works works just as it always has. I pay 1,000 to activate one of 2 special abilities. I can either add an Orichalcos card from my deck to my hand, or I can destroy one, ignoring its effects that would prevent it from being destroyed. So, say for example, I'm down to 500, and I'm about to lose my my Orichalcos challenge is about to be on death's door. I could just use Chosen Destiny, blow up my own seal, nobody's soul's taken. Next up, Orichalcos Gateway. My version of Orichalcos Eye, but with an additional effect. Basically, I can once per turn and only once that turn activate one of the following abilities. Wait, is it a... Yeah, once per turn. It's mainly a once per turn, but I only run one of this anyway. Once per turn, I can activate one of the following effects. I can either pay a 500 to shuffle an Orichalcos card from my hand or graveyard back into my deck and then draw a card. Or I could pay 1,000 to add an Orichalcos card from my deck or graveyard to my hand. Simple. Orichalcos Soul Deception. Now, this thing used to be extremely broken back in 2012, but I pretty much eroded it, just so it's a bit more fair. What it does now is, basically, I can only activate this while I control an Orichalcos field spell, and I have to control 3 Orichalcos monsters with different names. Once per turn, and only once that turn. I can tribute an Orichalcos monster I control to take control of one monster my opponent controls with an attack less than or equal to the tributed monster's attack. That's how that works. Next up, Orichalcos Forcum. It had a slight nerf to it, but it works just like it did in 2012. Basically I have to have an Orichalcos field spell in order to use this. When my opponent summons a monster, they take damage equal to that monster's original attack points. It used to be attack points, but I put it to original attack points, which, for those who don't know the difference, attack points basically means just straight up attack points. Original attack points is attack points without any type of enhancement. That's how that works. Next up, 2 Allure of Darkness, draw power. Destruction-based stuff with Lightning Vortex and Dark Hole, and Twin Twister. 2 Call the Haunted, 1 Heavy Storm Duster, 1 Drowning Mirror Force, and 1 Storming Mirror Force. And that is the Orichalcos challenge deck itself. Now for the extra deck, 2 Orichalcos Gem Dragon. This is my version of the pre-eroded Orichalcos Dragon. Basically, he's still rank 4, but he has Orichalcos Dragon's attack and defense in reverse. So it has 2,500 attack and 3,000 defense. This card's name is always treated as Orichalcos Dragon. That also means I can go into any one of his Exceeds family members. Once per turn, I can add a Orichalcos card from my deck to my hand by detaching an overlay unit. The other effect is I can detach an overlay unit to banish a card on the field, and that does not target. So that's how he works. Next up, number 27, which mainly what I use this for is I use this to go into, where did I put it? I use number 27 to go into what I like to call the birthday candle. Happy birthday. It's just a Gustav Max, though. 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Steelstorm Roach, 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Exiton Knight, 1 Darkbone Xyz Dragon, 1 Link Karibo, 1 Tim Tempo, 1 Giga Brilliant, 1 Granosaurus, and 1 Beat Cop. And that, folks, is the Orichalcos Challenge deck itself, and the extra... basically, rules of the Orichalcos Challenge are as simple. I will have the rules in the description bar below, but to summarize, basically, both me and the opponent play advanced format. No burn decks are allowed, no Exodia decks are allowed, and no FTKs are allowed. No burn, Exodia, or FTKs. Basically, how the challenge works is basically you face the Orichalcos deck. You are, besides using advanced format decks, the opponent is also allowed, just like me, to use either custom and or anime cards. Basically, I put anime and custom together and just say custom. That's pretty much what I mean. So basically, if you have a custom deck, you're welcome to use it. If you don't have a custom deck, that's okay. Any deck will do. If you lose while the seal is active, basically, your name gets put on my soul list. This signifies that your soul has been captured and taken to the Great Leviathan. And if you, and also, with your soul being captured, you cannot challenge the Orichalcos deck again unless your soul is freed from my soul list. Now, just letting you know, just to clarify, because this question does come up a lot. No, the Seal of Orichalcos does not actually steal souls in real life, no. Basically, it's pretty much the soul stealing thing is part of the aesthetics of the challenge, and it's also part of the aesthetics from the anime. I just wanted to make that clear. If you win while the seal is active, though, you get to free one of the souls that I've captured, though. So there's your reward. But other than that, that's pretty much a brief summarize of how the challenge goes. Like I said, I'll have the rules in the description bar below. But until then, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 saying, see you later.